Hey guys, welcome back. You can see, look at this, we're not in the studio today, we're out and about, and we're going to be playing with a gimbal today. We're going to be going over some basic moves for beginners. Now, if you've just picked up a gimbal, this video will be perfect for you, and even if you've had a gimbal for a while, these tips will help you improve your video quality and make life a little easier for you. Let's get into it. All right, one of the first things we need to do before we get out shooting video, running all over the place, is we need to do some pre-planning. Now, if you do some planning of where you're going, what you're gonna do, how you're gonna film it, what kind of moves you're gonna do. If you pre-plan and think about it ahead of time, your video will turn out a lot better because you've put a lot more effort into the planning part of it. Like I say, if you just get out there and start shooting clips all over the place and running around, and then you get back into the photo editor, you're going to have a harder time with it. If you can pre-plan your shots out, think of your story. How are you going to unfold your story with your beginning, your middle, and your ending? Now, pre-planning, key to do. All right, one of the first things you want to do is hold the gimbal with two hands. This is how I typically hold mine. I can still access all the controls if I need to, but I'm very stable with it. That way, when I'm moving, I'm actually getting some smooth footage versus trying to do it with one hand. It's not as stable. Yes, it's a gimbal which will stabilize your video, but it can only do so much. So we need to do what we can to make it better. And that's the two-hand grip on the gimbal when you're doing it. All right, the next point is we need to do the ninja walk. So let me show you what that's like. And it's basically a slight bend in the knees and it's heel to toe walking. Let's have a look at it. Ninja walking, slight bend in the knees, heel toe, and I take small baby steps. If you try and take big ones, and even if you're heel and walking, you're bouncing around. So, slight bend, slow and steady, heel toe, heel toe. The next point is you want to be able to use your grid lines. Now, if your phone has them, then definitely you want to turn them on because they will help you with composition, and the horizontal lines will help you keep the horizon straight. So turn on those grid lines. It'll greatly help you when you're doing your videos. All right, now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you what happens when you don't lock exposure and when you do lock your exposure. Because when you don't lock it, you're subject to the light changing and your camera will try and adjust accordingly for it. And you end up with a bad looking video. Whereas if you lock your exposure, you get a far better result because the light's not changing. So let me show you the example of this using this tree. So basically here I am here just on the tree. I haven't done anything, and I'm just going to pan over, catch that sky, and you can see how that sky changes. So when I'm at the tree, which is almost like an 18% gray, and then come over quickly, you see how that sky changes. So now, what you want to do is you want to lock your exposure. So you just tap and hold it. My exposure and my focus is now locked. So when I come and I do this again, I'm not going to get a change in light. See how that is not changing? Because I've locked the exposure to where I want. There's no change in the lighting. And that's what you want. Because like I say, if you don't, then you're subject to the light changing, and in nature the light's changing all the time and you're continually having to try and correct it. So once you know what your subject is, lock your focus, lock your exposure, and do whatever move you're doing, and you're no longer going to have an issue with exposure. Our next point is you want to watch the screen when you're doing your video. Now you want to make sure your path is clear and safe that you're going to be walking on, but you want to watch the screen while you're doing your recording. That way you can use those grid lines to help maintain your composition, and what you're seeing is actually what you're getting in your video, and you can make sure that all your framing is correct. So you're just basically going to be doing some walking and making sure that you are good and set. So watch the screen while you're walking. Okay, our next point is when you come onto the scene, you don't want to just be randomly taking video all over the place. You want to do one clip of the scene and do it in sections. Don't do it all at once. Don't sit here and go like, oh, look at that over there, that's cool. Oh, look at that swing set. Yeah, and then I've got that field over there, and I've got this, and I got that. Oh, let me look at this. Oh, look at that over there, that's cool. Oh, look at that, right? You don't want to be running all over the place. You want one shot, one clip from it, and then you can put all the pieces of clips together in the editor and it'll be so much better. So you don't want to randomly shoot just all over the place. And that's the tendency of beginners, is to shoot big long clips versus doing one short clip. Now basically here's going to be an example of me basically just doing it on the little swing set here, just doing one clip so you can see what I'm talking about. And there you go. The next thing is you want to do a nice steady constant motion when you're using the gimbal. You don't want to go slow then fast then slow. It doesn't look very good in the video unless that's a specific look that you're going for. Otherwise you want to do a nice steady move. Here I'm going to do a bit of a push through on the plants here, and you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm going nice and steady as I'm coming through the pine needles to create that bit of a reveal, versus coming along and going slow then fast then slow. Doesn't look as good as when you do a nice steady slow move. When everyone first gets their gimbal, they hold it at eye level and that's how they use it, which is fine to start with, but you want to learn to play with the different angles and different points of view that you can get with it. But you want to master the eye level one first, then you can come along and you can do some cool video like this, panning in, moving in, and then you can do some unusual moves by like coming along like this and panning up the corner of the building to create some very cool effects. So think of different angles that you can do while using your gimbal. I've already shown you how you can do video of like the entire building here and how you can come up on the angles, but there's always a thing called a shot within a shot. And if I just look a little lower, look at this gorgeous plant that's here. Now I can do a push through move with it. I can do close-ups with it. I can do reveals. There's all kinds of options that you can do, and you can just simply show the plant off as the plant blowing in the wind, right? Or you can do that little bit of a push through. So you always have that shot within a shot in your scenes, and it's something you need to be aware of because you can get some really cool and creative footage that way. That's it for this video. Hopefully, even if you're a seasoned veteran, you've learned something from it. It's always good to go back to the basics. Sometimes we pick up bad habits along the way, and it's good to get back to the basics to make sure that we're creating solid, smooth, and storytelling video. So hopefully this will help you create your next epic cinematic movie. All right, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit that bell notification so you're aware when I post new videos. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up. So, until the next time.